Basics on your side at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining. I am Frankie Catafais and Karen is off tonight. After a year-long battle with brain cancer, Senator John McCain has succumbed to his illness, passing away this evening, and his wife and children were beside him in Arizona at their home. At Maverick to the End, McCain revealing a short time ago that he had chosen to discontinue medical treatment, sadly well aware of its inevitable outcome.
He was a political maverick and a military hero. Over 5 decades, John Sidney McCain III became a towering figure in American politics and public service. Born on a U.S. military base near the Panama Canal, McCain grew up in Northern Virginia, the middle child of 3 in a family of Navy admirals. He attended the Naval Academy and became a combat aviator, flying missions over North Vietnam during the war. In 1967, McCain was shot down, captured, and later tortured during 5.5 years in a North Vietnamese jail dubbed the Hanoi Hilton.
So you have to have faith that your country and your countrymen are doing everything they can to bring you home as quickly as possible.
His scars of war became reminders of his valor, a decorated hero who turned to politics as a second calling. In 1982, McCain ran for Congress from Arizona, home to his second wife, Cindy Lou Hensley, a Phoenix school teacher who became his sweetheart after the war. The McCains would raise 4 children, including an adopted daughter from Bangladesh, a tight-knit family that factored prominently in his campaigns. McCain served 5 terms in the U.S. Senate and ran for president twice.
I'm not running for president to be somebody, but to do something.
In 2000, McCain lost the GOP primary to George W. Bush. 8 years later, he staged a storybook comeback to clinch his party's nomination. As candidate, he catapulted Sarah Palin to fame, while in his Straight Talk Express, winning a reputation as a candidate of character. But in the shadow of an unpopular Republican incumbent, McCain struggled to build momentum and at times strike the right tone.
The fundamentals of our economy are strong.
He got overtaken by a resurgent Senate colleague, Barack Obama, who was on a history-making run. True to form, McCain didn't fade away, turning misfortune into the role of elder Republican statesman. A party leader unwilling to bend to pressure. One of McCain's most dramatic acts of defiance, his July 2017 no vote on the GOP's skinny health care repeal. One of several failed attempts to dismantle Obamacare. A staunch critic of Democrats, but never afraid to be a conciliator. A budget hawk who led the charge against Obamacare, while trying to broker an elusive compromise on immigration. But McCain may be most remembered as a fierce advocate for veterans and the military, which he loved. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, here in Idaho, Senator Mike Crapo is reacting to the news of Senator McCain's death. In a statement posted on Facebook, Crapo said, in part, he truly represented unwavering commitment to the service of his fellow Americans. I offer my deepest condolences to his wife and children as they mourn his passing and celebrate his life. His life and legacy have given us all an unmatched example of sacrifice, duty, and dedication. Now time to get a check of the weather. Steve Leventhal joins us with the On Your Side forecast. What do you got for us?
Cooler temperatures.
Can't wait. Can turn down our air conditionings?
I think by Monday you might be thinking about turning the heat on for just a second in the morning.
This is
Maybe,
news.
yeah. We're going to hit the 70s, low 70s for afternoon highs on Monday. Tomorrow we'll see upper 70s for afternoon highs. Today was pretty much a typical day for southern Idaho, with most valley locations hitting the mid to upper 80s for afternoon highs. That's where we expect to be late during the month of August. And here's a view of Boise from our Toyota Tower Cam on top of the Grove Hotel. Temperature in Boise now at 76 degrees, very comfortable out there. There is a breeze out of the northwest at 15 miles per hour. That will continue into tomorrow and even into Monday. And Monday, there's a chance we could even see some rain here in the valley. 59 right now in Stanley, 61 in Haley, and 64 is the temperature right now in McCall. And there are clouds moving into the region. We're seeing some green coming back from radar, but there's no rain making it to the ground. These clouds are high up in the atmosphere, and the radar site from Boise, just looking up at the base of those clouds, I think it's seeing some moisture in those clouds. Nothing happening precipitation-wise just yet, but it could happen tomorrow afternoon in the mountains, and here in the valley could happen on Monday. Overnight, partly cloudy skies, 55 for your morning low. I'll tell you what that temperature will be on Monday, and when the best chance of rain coming in is coming in, that is in just a few minutes.
Evacuations are underway because of a wildfire burning west of Stanley. Boise County sheriffs are evacuating the Sawtooth Lodge near Grand Jean Road, nearby residences, campgrounds, and recreational trails. A forest spokesperson says the Wapiti fire is 1,200 acres with helicopters, air tankers, and 7 engines responding to fight the fire. The fire was called in at around 2:12 this afternoon. Officials say the cause of the fire is still under investigation. The only medicine some people can use to treat a life-threatening allergic reaction can be hard to find at a local pharmacy right now. The shortage of EpiPens has some parents in our community terrified of the what-if situations that could arise. 6 on Your Side's Jessica Taylor has the details.
If Emily even touches real mayonnaise, she'll have a reaction, so we have vegan mayonnaise.
Emily McCain navigates a tricky diet at only 2 years old.
We have vegan ranch, we have rice milk.
But it's a diet that's critical for keeping her alive.
She's allergic to peanuts, eggs, and dairy. She was diagnosed. She started having issues almost immediately after she was born.
Emily needs to have an EpiPen with her at all times. Even the smallest bit of peanut or egg in a food she's eating could cause her to go into anaphylactic shock.
Especially with a toddler where you never know what's going to happen. Going even a day without an EpiPen is a scary thought.
And recently, it's been a lot harder to have her medicine on hand. There's been a nationwide EpiPen shortage since May, and last month her local pharmacy didn't know when they'd be able to fill her prescription.
I called in a refill. We've never had an issue, so it didn't even cross my mind, and I immediately got a text message response from our pharmacy saying that the estimated availability date was a couple of weeks out.
Pharmacists say the time right before kids head back to school is especially bad. Pharmacies all over the state are struggling to stock EpiPens, but it's not a local issue. It's a supplier issue.
We have to wait until they get it in on their shelves to come out to us, so it could be anywhere from a few days to a week, hopefully not much longer than that.
Unfortunately, there aren't other alternatives for these reactions, according to pharmacists. The new generic EpiPen brand hitting the shelves soon will hopefully help out with the shortage, but it's not a waiting game anyone wants to play.
Not having that EpiPen to rely on just in case something happens, that's really scary because, you know, you're thinking about your child and their safety and a potentially fatal reaction.
Jessica Taylor, 6 on Your Side.
Pharmacies expect to receive adequate supplies in September once the back-to-school rush slows down a bit. We'll keep you updated on this issue. As Boise continues to grow, so do some of the community concerns. The city of Boise held a community meeting to discuss what can be done to address common concerns surrounding the city's growth. The 4 areas people are most concerned with are affordable housing, transportation, environment and heritage preservation, and governance. The city says while most people at their meetings are excited to welcome the growth, it's important to acknowledge both sides.
There are people who have been here a while who enjoyed the quietness of Boise of the past, and so we fully understand that. And we want to get a deeper understanding of that, and also let them understand that we're hearing what they say.
If you'd like your voice to be heard, there will be another community meeting next Tuesday for the public to attend. The first week of school just wrapped up for many kids here in Idaho, leaving safety at the front of many people's minds. 6 on Your Side's McKenna King tells us what many schools here in the Treasure Valley are doing to ease their concerns.
In the wake of school shootings and violence, schools worldwide are taking any preventative measure they can to keep their students safe. Kuna School District is no different. $135,000 was added to Kuna School District's annual budget this year, and all of it is going towards safety.
We've added 51 new security cameras through the district, bringing our total well over 200 security cameras.
As well as additional fencing around schools, swipe card security entrances to get inside the building, and an additional school resource officer. That with the help of the city of Kuna.
Kids need to be in an environment where they feel safe and where they can concentrate.
But it isn't just the new and improved security measures the district is taking that will help prevent violence inside schools.
When something doesn't seem right with a child or anybody, just reporting it to the police and reporting it to the school, that's going to be the biggest asset.
There is also a new threat assessment policy the school district is using in conjunction with the state to help identify kids who may need to be evaluated. Beamer tells us that the security card entrance implemented at Ross Elementary is something that will be implemented in all Kuna schools in the years to come. In Kuna, McKenna King, 6 on Your Side.
Some spent their afternoon shopping around the Robert Comstock store with a few wide-eyed friends. Today, Comstock raised money for the Peregrine Fund, which helps conserve birds of prey. The World Center for the Birds of Prey here in Boise advocates for all endangered raptor species. The fund was created to help preserve the peregrine falcons, who were on the brink of extinction in the 70s.
That was a species that almost went extinct in the United States. Today, they're doing so well that in 1999, we were able to take them off the endangered species list.
Now the Peregrine Fund continues to help the U.S. and others save raptors and falcons. 25% of the store sales today will help the birds of prey. The Boise Comic Arts Festival, formerly the Library Comic-Con, drew costume characters of all ages to downtown Boise today. Now in its 6th year, the festival, which supports the Boise Comic Arts Festival, took place at Jack's Urban Meeting Place.
I think that the comic books have a great opportunity to teach kids art. Kids grow up and they sketch their favorite characters, and they read the stories, they comprehend, they engage with them. And nowadays, kids dress up like them. We didn't do that back in the day. We never thought of it.
The festival will run through the weekend and includes visits from acclaimed comic book artists like Terry Bloss. The Indian Food Festival at Julia Davis Park featured more than just delicious curries and naan today. Led by the Association of India's Development, volunteers gathered to sell saris, skirts, and dresses in hopes of raising money for female victims of domestic abuse and sexual assault in India.
There's a huge sense of gratitude that I feel that I'm able to do more for them, because the more stories I learn about, the more I learn about their stories, the more I feel like they can do so much more if we are able to empower them, and that really is what makes me happy and keeps me going.
Limai tells us more than 700 people showed up today for food, Bollywood music, and to support the Jivikia livelihood program. The nonprofit helps people in need in India. Idaho Fish and Game says someone illegally stocked walleye in Lake Cascade. Officials say walleye is a non-native fish that threatens native species. The fish was caught earlier this week and was over 19 inches long. Citizens Against Poaching is offering a reward for information on the case. Idaho Fish and Game is still investigating. We found a surprise at the Warhawk Air Museum's Warbird Roundup this weekend. We met the man who holds the world speed record for a piston-powered aircraft, a record that was set right here in Idaho. Roland Bears reports.
This is a highly modified P-51 Mustang.
It's awesome. There's nothing like it.
And this is its record-setting pilot, Steve Hinton.
You're real low, about 100 feet off the ground. You're traveling at 800 feet per second. It's kind of the holy grail, so to speak.
It was last year when Hinton and his plane, nicknamed Voodoo, came to a ranch south of Challis, Idaho, to set the record of 531 miles per hour. The airframe of Voodoo could actually go a lot faster, but it's limited by this, the propeller, the tip of which is going about the speed of sound, and the laws of physics limit it to that. Still, each low-level pass required to set the record is shocking.
But when you get up around 450, 500 miles an hour with it, the airplane comes alive.
There's no prize for a piston-powered speed record.
That and $2.50, you get a cup of coffee, so.
Hinton says he does it for the fun.
Overall, the experience is fun, right? It's the journey, not the destination.
But that journey is definitely a quick one. Roland Barris, 6 on your side.
Scientists at Boise State say fireflies' signature blinking glow may be useful for more than just finding a mate. In a newly published study, they found that the flashing light might also help keep lightning bugs safe from bats. That's because bats don't like the taste of fireflies, and once they have eaten a few, they learn to steer clear of these bioluminescent insects. But when scientists use paint to cover the light, the bats still continue to eat the bugs. Think what you have what it takes to make it big on American Idol? Well, soon you might just have the chance to find out. The American Idol tour bus comes to Boise on September 2nd, and 6 on Your Side wants to help you get to the front of the line. Here's how the contest works. Just record a 30-second a cappella song and upload it to YouTube. Then upload that link to the contest section of our website, 6onyourside.com/contest. We'll pick 2 lucky winners who will get to skip the front of the line right to the audition in front of American Idol producers. So get your submissions in and tune in to 6 on Your Side at 10 on Wednesday, August 29th, when we'll announce the winners. Still ahead on 6 on Your Side, protesters and counter-protesters clash at the site of the Silent Sam statue. We have the latest details coming up.
And cooler air moving into Idaho, dropping our temperatures significantly. Our high will only be 72. And where we could see snow in Idaho. Coming up next.
Now, Steve Liebenthal with the On Your Side forecast.
And August started out as a hot month, but it's going to end as a relatively cool month. And right now we're in between those extremes. Our afternoon high today up to 86 degrees. That's 1 degree cooler than the average or normal for the date of 87. Our low got down to 52, actually 6 degrees cooler than average. In the mountains, we saw 70s around Idaho today, 75 in McCall. Look at Seattle, only got up to 64 degrees this afternoon. And that is an indication of the air that's moving in our direction. McCall, as I said, getting up to 75 degrees today. And if you watch what happens with the sky here, blue sky, and then we see clouds coming right at us from the west. Watch the shift now coming out of the north before finally, you know, the sun's setting and things get dark there. But that's an indication of that shift as well. That flow now coming out of the north, much cooler air moving in our direction. And we're starting to see some clouds showing up. There's a chance of showers tomorrow afternoon in mountain locations, and then on Sunday morning a very good chance of rain in the mountains, even some snow mixing in with that rain at the higher elevations. Here in the valley we have just a chance of showers early in the day on Monday. But the big news is this nice cool air that's going to be coming into the picture over the next 48 hours. And on Sunday afternoon we'll be in the mid 70s. On Monday afternoon here in the valley, low 70s, and places like McCall will struggle to make it up to 60 degrees on Monday afternoon. We still have an air quality advisory for the Magic Valley off into eastern Idaho because of all of the smoke. And with the northerly flow, we may help that a little bit, but there are fires up in Canada, so there's still some smoke moving in our direction. We'll have to see if some rain comes down to kind of wash that smoke out of the lower atmosphere. Our futurecast showing that chance of showers tomorrow evening around McCall, and then a good chance of rain in mountain locations. And if you see the areas of pink and blue here, pink indicates a rain-snow mix. Blue could be all snow on some of those higher peaks over in the east central mountains of Idaho. So yeah, we could see some snowfall at the very highest elevations. Nothing that would stick, but it's just an indication of the change that's coming our way. Afternoon highs tomorrow in the mid to upper 70s after our morning lows in the low to middle 50s. We'll see some clouds coming and going. Wind out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, ushering in that cooler air. Mostly cloudy with some showers, especially to the north in the west central mountains. Only up to 62 degrees tomorrow afternoon for McCall and Donnelly. Stanley gets down into the 30s again tomorrow morning at 36 and only up to 66. Still some smoke hanging there. It will be breezy down around Fairfield. In the Magic Valley, look for that sun trying to make it through the smoke, but your air quality still not all that great. Afternoon highs tomorrow much cooler in the upper 70s. And here's your extended forecast. There's our chance of rain on Monday, with an afternoon high of only 71 degrees now. Our computer models taking it even cooler. By midweek, we're back in the mid 80s, which is where we should be in late August. And next weekend looking quite pleasant with afternoon highs right around 80.
Steve, do you have your umbrella ready? Rain boots ready?
I don't
carry
that stuff.
Well,
I just get wet.
I guess it's just me. Coming up on 6 on Your Side, President Trump takes to Twitter to take a stab at a top government official. That story after the break.
On Your Side at 10 continues now.
President Donald Trump took to Twitter this morning to express his frustration with his Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the latest.
Before heading out for an afternoon on the golf course, it was an active morning on Twitter for President Trump, once again criticizing his Attorney General Jeff Sessions, now saying Sessions doesn't understand what is happening underneath his command position. Highly conflicted Bob Mueller and his gang of 17 angry Dems are having a field day as real corruption goes untouched. This recent attack only piling on to his latest interview on Fox News.
Jeff Sessions never took control of the Justice Department, and it's a sort of an incredible thing. He took the job, and then he said, I'm going to recuse myself. I said, what kind of a man is this?
Sessions, who typically ignores the president's attacks, pushed back, saying, I took control of the Department of Justice the day I was sworn in, which is why we have had unprecedented success at effectuating the president's agenda. While I am Attorney General, the actions of the Department of Justice will not be improperly influenced by political considerations. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who once said he supported Sessions 100%, now appears to be softening to the idea of replacing the AG. On Thursday, he told reporters that, quote, I think there will come a time sooner rather than later where it will be time to have a new face and a fresh voice at the Department of Justice. Graham made it clear, however, that the time for that new face would be after the midterm elections, but other senators have been quick to sound the alarm.
The idea that Jeff Sessions might be fired because he's not a political hack is a very, very bad idea.
The DOJ has declined to comment. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead on 6 on Your Side, 7 people have been arrested after protests erupted in North Carolina. We'll have the latest details up next.
6 on Your Side at 10 continues now.
At least 7 people have been arrested after protesters and counter-protesters clashed at UNC Chapel Hill, where a Confederate-era statue was toppled earlier this week. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest.
Protesters clash on UNC's Chapel Hill campus, some turning violent.
To make America great again. That's all it's about.
This was always a statue for standing for white supremacy.
The two sides coming out because of this statue, honoring Silent Sam, a Confederate war general, toppled earlier this week. On Monday night, students fiercely opposed to the 105-year-old monument and what they believe it symbolizes took matters into their own hands.
We will not allow anarchy to reign on our campuses.
The backlash was immediate, and so was the support.
No, I think they should put something that represents everybody.
Since then, university officials described the atmosphere on campus as highly charged.
No, I don't want to see it replaced. Come on.
Any part of history doesn't need to be destroyed. Like I say, if you forget about it, you're doomed to repeat it.
Criminal charges have been filed against 3 people thought to be responsible for bringing down the statue, but there is no decision yet about the future of the monument. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Here's a live look from our Toyota Tower Cam network from the Grove Hotel. If you see a superhero in a colorful getup running across the desert, don't worry, it's just Adventure Man, aka Jamie McDonald. As a child, he spent a lot of time at the Children's Hospital in Great Britain with a condition that can cause paralysis. Now he's committed to use this year on his tourist visa in the U.S. to raise $1 million for medical centers across the country by running from the westernmost point in Washington State to South Florida. And finally, up to New England. Now he's calling on all Want-To heroes to make a difference.
Well, if you're starting here in the Northwest, it's kind of chilly. It only got into the 60s in Seattle today. Our high tomorrow, 77 degrees. That's about 8 degrees cooler than average. On Monday, we only get up to 71. It takes until midweek until we get back to the mid-80s, and there is a chance of rain on Monday as well.
Excellent. That's all we have for you guys tonight. We'll see you next time. Good night.
The extended